Hey everybody, it is Prince's Friend, and today I have the first review of Diamonds and Pearls Week for you. It's a review for, you guessed it, Diamonds and Pearls. Now this was released in 1991. This was actually where the band underwent kind of a huge overhaul, one of those kinds that Prince does periodically. Dr. Fink left to pursue some solo projects and some production opportunities. Miko Weaver left for the same reason. So Levi Caesar Jr. actually moved in from bass to guitar to fill in for Miko, and Tommy Barbarella came in to replace Dr. Fink on the keyboards. Sonny T, yes, not Sonny B, I know, took over on bass. So Prince had actually been trying to get Sonny T to come on to an album and do something with him for a long time, and he was maybe about to go play with some other acts, but at the last minute he chose to go ahead and perform with Prince. So I think that the band became much better there. Rosie Gaines, Michael B., and the Game Boys stayed on from Graffiti Bridge. Damon D still stayed mainly a dancer. Kirky J was kind of split between dancer, percussion, and DJ. And Tony M, as we all know, became one of the front voices with his rapping. So at this stage in Prince's career, he was world-renowned for his ability to give a live show. He changed up the set lists for every tour, and sometimes every friggin' show of that tour, and every tour was completely different from the one before. But record sales were kind of on the low end, and it had become apparent that he hadn't had a #1 hit that was not connected to a movie. You had When Doves Cry and Let's Go Crazy was Purple Rain, you had Kiss, which was off of Under a Cherry Moon, and he had Bat Dance from Batman. He kind of had that curse of he could only get a #1 if it was attached to a movie. Now Prince didn't really care about making hits, but he did feel like he needed a change. So the band changed, and now it was time to see if they could do a new sound. And recording went on from September 1990 to February 1991. So that's a good 5 months of recording, which is on the longer end of his creative spectrum. This is also, though, where the fights with the studios began, because they were really pushing him to get hits. And again, he didn't care about hits, but his music is a business after all. So he said, okay, I'm going to make this album slightly different for you guys. We're going to make some changes in the way that my contract is and all of that stuff. He argued for prompt release of the recorded materials. He fought to have a lot more promotion in the US this time around. He normally just does stuff in the UK. But he wanted to get on like a bunch of different shows, award ceremonies, having more videos and slightly longer videos for this album. And obviously he wasn't happy when the album was postponed like 2 or 3 times before it was released. But when it did come out, it was accepted widely and heralded for how easily accessible it was, especially to a younger audience that had become accustomed to having a little bit of rap in their music at this point. Rosie Gaines also added a pretty good gospel sound. Tony M brought in the rap, and then Prince had the funk, so it was kind of a winning combination there for a 1991 audience. The album sold 2 million copies, it reached #1, and it had 4 top 30 singles. He hadn't done that since Purple Rain. That should be complimented here. Now, personally, this was the first album I ever had to wait for. So I had bought Graffiti Bridge, and then while I was waiting for the next album, I was buying For You, then Prince, then Dirty Mind, then Controversy, and I was going through all the albums, and then when I finally got to the end, I was like, but the next one isn't out yet. Wait a minute, what do I have to do? And as you guys all know, I ended up getting it for Christmas, and if you guys have seen my first Prince album video, the image in there was actually of me getting Diamonds and Pearls for Christmas, and I about hyperventilated when I opened it, and I was like, yes! Oh, this is so hard! I was so excited to get it. But anyway, let's get into the tracks, and you can see why this album was such a success.
Thunder all through the night. The promise to see Jesus in the morning light. Love said, take my hand, it'll be alright. Come on, save your soul tonight. Love's kiss was running all through my veins.
So I remember hitting play on this album, and it like slapped me in the face. Thunder all through the night. I love how he continues to use love in place of God. Like, this song is about having a religious experience, like being visited by God and being saved. But by saying love in the song instead of God, most people dug it and didn't even catch that it was kind of a religious thing, even though Jesus is in the chorus. That didn't matter as long as the songs itself can be kind of construed as non-religious. And this was one of those tracks too that it honestly felt like it could have been right off of Graffiti Bridge. It ends with an amazing guitar solo and some keyboards that are fairly Batman-esque, so you can see kind of how he took influences from different parts that he had been working on and probably threw them together. In the UK, Thunder was released as a special picture disc format, and it reached number 30 on the charts over there. Prince was focusing on the US around this time, but he didn't forget about the people who really stood behind him for the last few years, and that was the UK. So this was the first song on the album that you get like a taste for the new Prince kind of rap groove, but it's rap mixed with some really good funk. I mean, like, listen to that bass that Sonny T does. And of course, Daddy Pop is Prince. The majority of the song is encouraging people to try their best and better themselves. And then Prince takes a verse to basically take a dig at some critics, and he says, "Whatever you can't do, Daddy can, and I got grooves and grooves up on the shelves." Almost proclaiming, you see this album, this is me doing stuff I've never done before, and I'm killing it, now what? I just love the attitude on this song, and the whole album.
If I gave you diamonds and pearls, would you be a happy boy or a girl? If I could, I would give you the world. All I can do is just offer you my
So I remember when I first heard Diamonds and Pearls, and it was actually one of my least favorite songs on the album. I was young and I was fiery and I liked the faster, more aggressive songs, but after a few listens, I got to really love it for its simplicity and its beauty. If you get a chance, there's a video of just people just reading the lyrics aloud and seeing how it affects them emotionally. Like, I literally cried when I watched that video. It's like no music, no nothing, it's just the words and the sentiment, and it can just blow you away. This is the first song to heavily feature Rosie Gaines on the album, and she really shows off her voice on this track. I love it. In the US, it was the 4th single, and it got up to number 3. In the UK, it was the 3rd single and got up to number 25. So it's a good song, so it's not really a surprise.
queen. Get on top, queen. You will cop, queen. Don't you stop, queen. Show it wow. You're so good, baby. They ain't nobody.
So Cream became Prince's 5th number 1, but it was the first not associated with a movie. Thus, he set another milestone for this album. Some people think that it's a sexual song when he's talking about Cream, but it's really not. It was reported that he wrote this song after looking at himself in a mirror, and he realized that the cream always rises to the top, as the old saying goes. The cream of the crop is another one. It's all about self-determination and whatnot, but you only really get that by looking at the lyrics, because otherwise the sounds coming out of this, the music, is really sexy, so if you take it at face value, it comes off as sex. Lyrically, however, it's a lot simpler than what I'm used to from Prince and his wordplay. He uses a lot of like common rhymes, fire, desire, cop top, dance, chance, and these are all kind of really obvious lines, but they all kind of work together somehow under Prince's guiding hand. While this isn't really one of my favorite Prince songs, it's no wonder that it reached the top. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Strolling, strolling, we can have fun just strolling, rockin', rollin'.
is a cute little Motown sounding song. It actually reminds me of like old Smokey Robinson. It feels a little out of place on this album, personally, but it is actually really fun. It's all about forgetting the rigors of the day and just going out and having some fun. The drums on this are weird because they sound like they were an afterthought and just kind of thrown in, and they don't really keep a beat well. But that's kind of also why they work with this, because they're all just kind of all over the place. I kind of dig that. I love Prince's falsetto on this track too, which makes it a really fun one to sing.
'Cause I'm willing, and I'm able, I'm ready to place my cards on the table. There's some kings in my deck and a queen or two.
So Willing and Able was co-written by Levi Seacer Jr. and Tony M, who has an okay rap at the end, so go Tony. I like this song because it picks up the pace a little bit coming off of Strollin and brings in the Steels, who are always great for adding like epic, like gospel backing. Musically, the song sounds like it's almost a mix of country and pop. With Prince's falsetto, it brings it readily into the pop realms. I think it's a great example of how Prince mixes sounds and makes the music do what he wants it to do. Like, I'm your master, now dance for me! Anyway, it's a good song.
Get up,
23 positions in a one-night stand.
get up,
I'll only call you after if you say I can.
get up. Let a woman be a woman and a man be a man. Get up,
If you want to, baby, here I am.
here I am.
And of course we get to that epic scream. The scream that I believe put Prince on the map. He had some screams on some of his songs, but none of them were as iconic, I think, as this one was. The song apparently was a mishmash of a bunch of different ideas that he had, from Glam Slam to Love Machine, and the first attempt, which is Gett Off with 1T, as we all know, was on the New Power Generation maxi single. Anyway, but this song is basically a seduction song, but not the kind that you'd think. So he heard a rumor that she hadn't gotten laid in a while, so he kind of offers himself up. He tells her sexy stories to get her in the mood, and then he brings her home, and she asks for ribs, and he kind of just laughs at her. Again, this is Prince having a sense of humor in his music, and, you know, before, with Adore, it was love, and now how love can be humorous, and now we can see sex can also be humorous. It doesn't always have to be serious. Rosie Gaines again lends her voice to this track to good effect, and Tony M is in the chorus a bit and actually is pretty cool on this song. Gett Off peaked at number 21 in the US, and hit number 4 in the UK, so good job. All in all, it's an amazing song that became a friend favorite.
I said walk like you can use a ride. Don't walk with a confidence stride. Then people can walk all over you. Don't talk till I tell you to. Don't talk if it's against the rules. Just walk away and be a fool. That's what they want you to do.
So I find it interesting that Prince surrounded Gett Off, which is a pretty high energy track, with two kind of laid back tracks with Willing and Able and Walk Don't Walk. This is a song about how most people just kind of follow the rules that are given to them, even if they don't make any sense, and how you have to look beyond that and break the rules to live a good life. You know, I'm walking on your side of the street, and I'm talking to the people I meet, because I'm a rebel, and you can't stop me from doing my thing. I always took this kind of as a slap to Warner Brothers, but I could also just be looking at it too deep. I'm not really sure.
Jughead, yeah, we getting funky in the house tonight. Kicking the Jughead. Come on, get stupid, kicking the Jughead. Oh yeah, we getting funky in the house tonight. Kicking the Jughead, yeah. Wait a minute, what you doing?
Make Daddy in the house over there. What you doing, dog?
So this is Dance Commercial Take 2, and we'll talk about Dance Commercial Take 1 a little bit later in the week. This is also the first of the tracks where you get the Prince, Rosie Gaines, Tony M trifecta sharing the verses and coming at you strong. Jughead starts with Tony, and he does a pretty darn good rap. Explains how to do the dance, but he raps it kind of fast, so it's kind of hard to get it on like the first listen. But when it gets to Prince, he comes in and he doesn't rap per se. He instead does kind of a pimp, I'm too cool to rap kind of thing. The ending of the song definitely speaks right to Warner's, with Tony arguing with a music manager and telling him how much he's not wanted or needed. Prince had already seen where this was going.
Money don't matter tonight. It sure didn't matter yesterday. Just when you think you got more than enough, it's when it all up and flies away. That's when you find out that you pay.
So Money Don't Matter Tonight was co-written by Rosie Gaines, and this is one of my favorite songs on an album full of great songs. It addresses money and gambling, poverty and greed and war. Remember, this was an album that came out, we were in the Persian Gulf War, so Prince's anti-war comments were very pointed. This song to me is kind of like Sign of the Times. Prince was doing another song where he was telling you the stories of the atrocities occurring, but instead of them being kind of worldwide issues like AIDS or hurricanes, it was about personal demons and the effects of war on children. Musically, it's pretty simple, but that's on purpose, so that you'll listen to the message, and the message is very strong.
I push,
Don't you let it pull you down. And push
I push,
until you get a higher ground. And push. You're never too young, you're never too old. And push. Don't stop until you go. You never stop to wonder why you put
So
it
out
on
of the
down.
three really hip-hoppy songs on this album, Daddy Pop, Jughead, and Push is my favorite. I love that Prince does his falsetto basically the whole song. This was always a struggle for me to keep up with him in his higher register when I would sing along, but I eventually got there, and it makes it much more fun to sing. It's also the song where I realized Prince had never ever played a video game before. The lyrics, maybe the cartridge you were playing doesn't fit in your video game, it just doesn't make any sense to anybody as a gamer. I mean, you get what he's trying to say, but it's just wrong. Tony gets another rap on here, and it's pretty good. Rosie raps again, and it's not as good as the one on Jughead, but you know, it's okay. And then Prince does one of his signature raps, where he names all of the songs on the album in his rap. You'll notice by listening to it that Gett Off is not in his lines. That's because Gett Off was a late addition to the album after Push had already been recorded. But all in all, Push is an amazing song.
My body, baby, you truly do. Insatiable my day when it comes to you. Like a wildcat mother in a celibate rage. I want you
So
alone.
Insatiable is just so sexy. Again, he tackles most of this song in his falsetto, which is just crazy. The scream at the end is just ridiculously good too. Oh man. Insatiable is great because it kind of gives you a look at what it would be like to record a Dirty Movie with Prince. A lot of people have wondered who Martha is in the song, and it was later revealed by Michael B. that it was just the name that Prince happened to like at the time, so he used it. It wasn't a particular person, and I was like, damn it, I was hoping to uncover some drama or some secrets here, but nope, it was just a name he liked. This song did get number 3 on the R&B charts, not surprisingly. Then we get to Live for Love, and I love this song. It's a really good song to end on, too. It equals the energy and the power of the song that we opened the album on, Thunder. Live for Love is an account of what it must be like for a soldier, a jet pilot more specifically, and the terrifying thoughts going through his head while they fight in the war. Again, Prince takes an interesting idea and kind of twists it. It's not about the soldier living for love. It's actually the opposite. He's vengeful, and he's hateful, and he's resentful, and he's killing people, and he's asking God, why am I in this position? Why can't I just live for love? And then Tony M finishes off the album. I remember not liking his additions as much as I guess I actually do, because I liked his raps on this one. Maybe it's not until the next album that I started to not really like him. He started to annoy me a little bit. Musically, the beat on this is amazing, and the accents of "Live for Love," chanting kind of back and forth, are just awesome. The massive guitar solo at the end is also just amazing. So, in conclusion... So if you're following along, this is kind of the logical direction for Prince to take. He had done very well in the pop rock dance genres before, and he had just kind of gotten a scolding from the record label over poor record sales and expensive tours. So what did Prince do? He said, "Oh, you want hits? Well, I mean, I can do that all day." And he puts out an amazing pop album that blows the roof off the house. And what he was trying to do was get better leverage because negotiations for his recontract was coming up. In my opinion, though, this is actually the last album that was really kind of poppy at all. After Diamonds and Pearls, we enter into the name change and the Slave days, where everything was actually really edgy and rebellious and definitely not trying to appeal to the masses. And after that, Prince really didn't prescribe to any one genre ever again, really, except he did a couple blues albums, but really, he was kind of just all over the place. But Diamonds and Pearls is straight up pop sensation. And it was written basically as a message saying, did you think I couldn't do this the whole time? I'm on a bigger mission. It's not about hits. It's beautiful and it's poppy and it's ahead of its time. Diamonds and Pearls is a great album, 5 out of 5. So what did you think of my review of Diamonds and Pearls? Let me know down in the comments. I want to know what your favorite track is and what did you think about the album overall. If you enjoyed this review, check out our Patreon and see if you want to support the channel at patreon.com/princessfriend. And also don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. May live to see the dawn.